Hello friends, I decided to talk about what's happening with us. I think I'm known in the Russian-speaking community as someone who always shares objective news about Montenegro, about immigrating to this country, and who never hides anything, including news that might not be entirely in my favor. And right now, that's exactly the kind of news I'm going to talk about. Why did I decide to record this video? Because my clients reach out to me and regularly ask, why is it taking so long? But I think I'm just tired of explaining it to everyone over and over. So I decided to make this kind of video. Of course, not everyone will watch it, but still, it will get around, including to those clients who have already signed up. And the number of such questions will decrease. So, what's going on? We're experiencing significant delays on certain issues, which I'll talk about now. Basically, nothing fundamentally new. Delays happen every year, every summer, and during vacation season, there are regularly delays. I've talked about this many times, but this year, let's say, they're more significant because on top of the usual annual delays, there's also the special operation that Russia is conducting in Ukraine. So let's go through everything in order. The tax office during vacation season. So we submit the document. Someone has received a residence permit, received the Borovak. After that, we need to register them with the tax office, register the company director with the tax office, and register the company's bank account with the tax office, though. Notify them that such and such company has opened such and such bank account. We do all of this. There is practically no response. They review the documents for about a month. Today, though, we did receive a batch of confirmations for some companies, but we submitted those literally at the end of June, and only now have we received them. So these are outrageously long time frames normally. Outside of the vacation season, it only takes a few days. But right now, this is the situation. Last year, it was the same. This started last year. Before that, it didn't happen because there were different new employees. Now, unfortunately, the employee who used to process these documents has retired. And so it turns out that everything works outside of the busy season. But when July comes, in July and August, everything just comes to a halt. In other words, everything takes a very long time. The timing for receiving health booklets depends on this. Health booklets are these small green booklets that give you the right to free medical care. It often happens that someone comes in and says, I broke my leg, I need to see a doctor, but I don't have a health booklet. I say, there's nothing I can do to help. The tax office hasn't issued the document yet. Or there's another situation. Someone says, my wife is about to give birth, I need the document. I say, the tax office hasn't issued the document yet, I can't process it right now. That's it. But you probably just need to think about this in advance and come a little earlier so that these seasonal delays don't affect you. Well, if you know you need to give birth, say in August, then come ahead of time. Don't come when it's already right up to the deadline and say, I need it urgently. It's difficult to do things urgently during the busy season. Second question. The second question is about banks. There haven't been serious delays in banks during the busy season, although there have been some, but not very serious ones. But this year, we had that very special operation I already mentioned, overlapping with everything. How did this manifest? You probably know from my other videos that we had an exodus. It can probably only be compared to the white emigration that happened after the civil war in Russia at the beginning of the last century. In other words, a sea of people arrived, just a sea. And now, basically, that opportunity has run out. Now, the number of companies being open is about the same as it was last year in short, as it used to be. But all the people who rushed in, they fled in the spring, it all happened around the same time. So now, around the same time, they all received their residence permits, got to the stage of opening bank accounts, and everyone went to open banks. Everyone went to open bank accounts. This crowd surged forward. Yes, now such crowds of newcomers are no longer arriving. But the ones who did arrive, they all rushed to the banks. The workload in the banks has tripled. At the same time, we must not forget that it's currently vacation season, which means there are fewer bank employees and they can open fewer accounts now than outside of the season. And in this situation, when their human resources are limited, they are facing 3 or even 4 times the usual number of clients. Naturally, they just lay down. On top of that, there are some additional circumstances. Let's begin. Let's separate working and non-working companies. There is a difference here. As I told you, not all banks open accounts for non-operating companies. They do open them, but not for everyone. So among those banks that do open accounts for non-operating companies, there is one bank that currently has several branches in our city. Some of these branches have someone out with COVID, meaning at the counter. A counter is a window, and there should be two people at the window, but instead of two, there's only one. In another branch, out of two employees, one is on vacation. So again, it turns out they have only half the staff. They say, we can't handle that volume. Give us two companies right now, and we'll open accounts for them. And after we open accounts for them in about 10 days, bring us two more companies and we'll open accounts for them too. But you understand, like two companies in 2 weeks, that would be fine if there wasn't a special operation going on. Let me remind you, in part, that now all this flow of people has reached the point of opening bank accounts. There aren't just two people, there are 10 times more. So I need to bring 20 companies, but they're telling me to bring just two. That's how it is. In bank number two, the situation there is even more amusing. Everyone is at work, no one's on vacation, no one's out with COVID. But they came up with something not on purpose. It's not some kind of sabotage. It was just part of their scheduled work. They decided that they needed to change their software in July. They started updating it and something went wrong. Probably the programmers did a sloppy job. As a result, the bank has been unable to perform certain operations for almost a month now. So in the end, they're kind of opening accounts. First of all, they're not opening them very quickly either, but they're also asking for just two companies to be brought in. They say, bring 5 companies at a time, we'll open the accounts, then bring the next 5 companies. We brought them 5 companies, they approved everything, did all the paperwork, but they can't issue the signature deposit card. Well, that's basically the final document that confirms the company has an account. The software isn't set up. When will it be set up? Well, we don't know. We're just waiting. Maybe this week. This week, the next week. They're waiting again for this week. And this whole mess has been going on for quite a long time now. And by the way, the delays are really significant. It's not even that we've applied and can't open an account. We can't even submit all the applications. Because everywhere they say, bring this number of companies, and once we open accounts for them, then bring the next batch. So we just sit and wait for who knows how long until they open them. It's really, really slow. You have to keep in mind that it's not just us going to, the mother accountants are going to. There are a lot of them in the city, and each one is bringing clients. And right now, everyone has an excess of clients because, again, everyone got their Borovka, everyone got their residence permit at about the same time. So everyone went to accountants at the same time, started opening accounts, started registering with the tax office. That's how it is. It's a bit easier with active companies because active companies are accepted by more banks and they don't take on inactive companies. So they're not as overloaded. And here the main task is to come in and say, guys, we've written a small business plan for this company and it will actually be conducting real business. Let me open a company and there everything really goes much faster usually. The issue is resolved within a week or 10 days. So what else should I say as a final note? Many viewers of my subsequent videos and perhaps even this one might have concluded that the era of inactive companies in Montenegro is over, and now you absolutely have to operate actively. Not yet. That is, someday, of course, just like in all other European countries, there will definitely be a requirement for the company to be active, for it to, in short, be beneficial to the society you live in, to participate and pay taxes. In Montenegro, this is not required yet. For now, you can still maintain an inactive company. The only thing is, as you can see, it takes a bit longer, since only a limited number of banks open accounts for inactive companies. And accordingly, the time frames just increase a little. But in principle, I don't see anything particularly alarming so far. Friends, my name is Dimitri. You can contact me with questions about immigration or about life in the country. All my contact information is in the description of this video. Thank you all for your attention. Goodbye.